All right, everybody, and we are live. Welcome all of you to Jewish Veg and to our session today on how to survive a pandemic with Dr. Michael Greger and Jody Graber. I wanted to first introduce myself. My name is Michael Gribov. I am the Director of Engagement and Development at Jewish Veg. Also want to bring on Jody here. Jody is our East Coast Engagement Manager. Hello, Jody.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to have you all here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jody is also a certified nutritionist and a health coach, so that's going to be very helpful for this healthful discussion. So a few words. First of all, I'm excited, all of you joining us today. If you registered for this event with Jewish Veg, you are going to get an impact survey tomorrow. We want to hear from you, want to get your feedback. It helps us to be to serve the community in the best way. So please, when you get that, respond to that, and we'll incorporate all of your ideas and your thoughts. If you are viewing this on Facebook, please friend us or follow us, like us, and comment. If you're viewing on YouTube, please subscribe and like and comment as well. And this session is really meant to be interactive, so you're going to see a chat box on Facebook or YouTube on the right-hand side of the screen. We can see some comments coming in right now. We'll be able to pull those comments in right now. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Rose. Thank you. Good evening. Hello, Wendy. Good evening. Louise, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. So let us know where you're from. Please put in your comments and your questions in the chat box. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We did get a lot of questions submitted ahead of time, so we'll try to work through those as well. We're very glad that you are here with us. Hello, Sean. Thank you so much for joining us. And let us get started. A few words first about Jewish Veg. So Jewish Veg is actually we're celebrating our 45th anniversary this year. We've been around for almost half a century as the Jewish voice of the plant-based movement. And our vision is a kinder, healthier, more sustainable world. And we try to create that world by inspiring people to embrace plant-based diets in accordance with the highest Jewish values of compassion for animals, concern for our health, and also care for our environment. And all of these things are kind of coming together, in one pinnacle in our food system. Hello, Erica, and good to see you, Erica, from DC. Pamela, great to see you. So we do this by building community, local community, by empowering institutions to go veg, and by leading global campaigns. And speaking of campaigns, we just launched a global campaign connected to the pandemic called Toward a Pandemic-Free World. So you probably have seen a lot about this on our social media and in our emails. The campaign is, we thought we are in the middle of a zoonotic pandemic. What a perfect time right now to talk about how our food system, our agriculture, our health, and the pandemic is all connected together, because it's all connected, but people are not connecting the dots. So that's why I'm really excited about this Pandemic-Free World campaign. It is supported by individual donors like you. So if you have not supported yet, please go to our pandemic site, pandemicfree.org. If we can put that on the chat here, we will make that live. And we would appreciate your support because it's really sustained by individuals like you. So that is the site. at the bottom right here, right here somewhere. You can go to that site and please please support us in any way that you can. The campaign is also a partnership with other organizations. Today I want to feature a partner called VDOG, right here. VDOG is a amazing company. They are featuring vegan kibble for your pets. If you have a dog, if you have a pet and you would like to increase their health and also contribute to a positive world by not killing animals while feeding your dog, and not contributing to pandemics, then VDOG is certainly for you. So please visit vdog.com, and I hope that you'll be able to support them and purchase their product as well. So with that, I would like to bring on and introduce Dr. Michael Greger. Dr. Greger is one of our favorite doctors. We have a lot of doctors we work with on our advisor council, so I can't say which one is the favorite, but Dr. Greger is really a leading expert in this field in nutrition and in health. He's a physician, a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyway. He's a physician, a New York Times best-selling author, an internationally recognized professional speaker. You've testified before Congress, which also I know led to the USDA forcing the recall of over 140 million pounds of contaminated beef, some of which was going to our schools and our children. So thank you for that. You're the founding member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine and also licensed as a general practitioner specializing in clinical nutrition. Speaking of nutrition, there's a little site that's called nutritionfacts.org. Every year, you read through every issue of every English language nutritional journal in the world, so busy folks like us don't have to. And then compile the most groundbreaking findings in new videos and articles every day on your nonprofit site, nutritionfacts.org. All of the information on nutritionfacts.org is actually free. So I encourage all of you guys to check it out. There are a plethora of videos. I cannot count how many videos there are, but every topic has anywhere between, I guess, 17 to 1,700 videos. So I appreciate everything that you do on this website and through your work, and encourage all of you guys to check out this amazing website that has a huge video library and a lot of resources that will help you lead a healthful lifestyle. So thank you, Dr. Greger, for leading this revolution in evidence-based and plant-based nutrition. Really appreciate you coming on board.
So happy to be here. Happy to help.
Fantastic. All right, so I want to start the discussion, because you have been in the movement for so long. You've been a vegan yourself for 3 decades and counting now. So maybe you could share a little bit about your own kind of veg journey and how it has informed your Jewish identity and your Jewish practice.
So for me, it was all back to my babushka, my grandma. When I was just a kid, she was sent home in a wheelchair to die with crushing chest pain. She had end-stage heart disease already, had so many bypass surgeries, basically run out of plumbing at some point. Confined to a wheelchair, crushing chest pain. Her life was over at age 65. Then shared about this guy, Nathan Pritikin, one of our early lifestyle medicine pioneers. What happened next is actually detailed in Pritikin's biography. My grandma was one of the death's door people. Frances Gregor, my grandmother, has a whole section about her. They wheeled her in and she walked out. Though she was given her medical death sentence at age 65, thanks to a healthy diet, was able to enjoy another 31 years on this earth till age 96 to continue to enjoy 6 grandkids, including me. That's why I went into medicine. That's why I practice lifestyle medicine, why I started nutritionfacts.org, why I wrote the book, How Not to Die, why all the proceeds from all the sales of my books are donated to charity. I just want to do for everyone's family what Pritikin did for my family.
Fantastic. It's such a powerful story. And, I have a babushka as well, but unfortunately, she just, not everyone sees the light like your grandmother. So it's inspiring, really inspiring to see and to hear when stories like this really make it to the limelight and people are healed. As I think your work truly heals so many people. So really appreciate that. Speaking of your work, there's a little book, not so little maybe. There's 500 some pages, How to Survive a Pandemic. This book was just in physical edition, just came out this month. Just ordered my copy today. Recommend everyone get this book and have a read. It's not as daunting as it may look, because there are actually over 3,600 references in this book. So some of the book is just references, but it is written in such a way that it is so digestible and so understandable by people that don't have an MD or a PhD. On the topic of this book and on the topic of pandemics, I wanted to ask you about the connection and have you talk about the connection between pandemics and animals and our diet. Just reference a few questions that we got. This one from Lauren Oakes in California. Lauren from California. How did you write those books so fast, or did you suspect the pandemic was eventually going to come? I'm going to group a few questions together. And I know that actually your earlier book, Bird Flu, actually came out over a decade ago, 2007. So you've been doing a lot of research on this. In your university years, you've actually started research on this, looking at mad cow disease. So it's really a full circle that the pandemics just keep coming around because we're stuck in this feedback loop of awful broken food system and an awful Western diet. But a few questions we got from our other members. This one from Evan, New York. Please elaborate how eating animals causes pandemics. And Brian here wanted to know how the lack of our quality of our food supply could cause a pandemic in some fashion. And then maybe my favorite here from Paula in Meadows, New York. Why isn't the media and health experts actually telling the truth about the animal connection? And she said that she would love for you to be featured on mainstream media as well. So I would love to see that as well. I think we need to resonate really this message in mainstream. So please.
Yeah, public health leaders have been shouting from the rooftops for decades about the risk, about the coming pandemic. And indeed, I've been working on my first half of my professional life was on emerging infectious disease. But no one was listening. But now that COVID-19's got everyone's attention, I can finally go back to that body of work. And so I was able to write it so quickly because much of the work was already done on the emergence of so-called zoonotic or animal to human diseases. In fact, all of our major infectious diseases came originally from the domestication of animals. So tuberculosis was from the domestication of goats. Measles also came from goats or sheep. Smallpox as a result of camel domestication. We domesticated pigs and got whooping cough, chickens and got typhoid fever, ducks and got influenza. Leprosy came from water buffalo, common cold from cattle or horses. How often did wild horses have the opportunity to sneeze into humanity's face until they were broken and bridled? Until then, the common cold was only really common to them. He said, well, wait a second, that was a long time ago, 10,000 years ago. What's happening now? Over the last few decades, hundreds of human pathogens have emerged at a rate unheard of in human history. And you say, wait a second, emerged from where? From animals. The AIDS virus is blamed in the bushmeat trade in Africa, butchering primates. Mad cow disease was because we turned cows into carnivores and cannibals. SARS and COVID-19 have been traced back to the exotic wild animal trade. But our last pandemic, swine flu in 2009, didn't arise from some backwater wet market in Asia, but was largely made in the USA on industrial pig farms in the United States. And now, thankfully, swine flu only killed about 500,000 people, but the next time we might not be so lucky. As devastating as COVID-19 has been, and maybe it just be a dress rehearsal for an even greater threat waiting in the wings of chickens. According to the CDC, the leading candidate for the next pandemic after COVID-19 is a bird flu virus by the name of H7N9, which is 100 times deadlier than COVID-19. Instead of 1 in 250 people dying, we're looking at 40% of the people that have become infected so far have died. And the last time a bird flu virus jumped species and triggered a pandemic, caused the deadliest plague in history, the 1918 pandemic killed 50 million people. That had a 2% death rate. I mean, imagine a pandemic, infecting billions, where death is closer to a flip of the coin. Thankfully, there's something we can do about it. Just as eliminating these live animal markets and the exotic animal trade may go a long way towards preventing the next coronavirus pandemic, reforming the way we raise domestic animals for food may help forestall the next killer flu. When we raise, tens of thousands of animals in these cramped, filthy, football field-sized sheds to lie beak to beak or snout to snout on top of their own waste, just a breeding ground for disease. There's the sheer numbers, the overcrowding, the stress crippling their immune systems, the ammonia from decomposing waste burning their lungs, lack of fresh air, lack of sunshine. You put all these factors together, we really have as the perfect storm environment for the emergence and spread of the so-called super strains of influenza. The bottom line is that it's not worth risking the lives of millions of people for the sake of cheaper chicken.
Well said. Well said. Because these days we actually have a choice, right? Like, we don't have to eat meat. We don't have to eat dairy. We don't have to eat animal products. We have a plethora of options before us that we can actually choose to eat, and as a result, improve our health and save the world from pandemics. a double whammy. Speaking of food, we have a lot of questions, a lot of interest, obviously, on food. What should we eat during the pandemic? This is a great question I like from Martha in Fort Worth, Texas. Do Whole Foods plant-based folks have less COVID-19 than omnivores? Donald from Newberry, California, asks, what are the best antiviral foods out there? Sherry from New Jersey, what are the most important foods to keep your digestive system working properly? Emily from San Jose, California, what plant-based foods are likely to defend against diseases that target lungs like COVID? Deborah from Philadelphia, what's the main course? What's a good main course? Is dairy included? And Susan from DC, hi Susan. Can you please talk about how to tweak eating vegetarian? Because she's been doing this for 50 years to maximize health benefits. For those that are eating, eating an omnivore diet or eating a vegetarian diet, what is the impact of health on that diet, and how does that impact health right now during the coronavirus, and what should we be eating to strengthen our health?
Well, the good news is we have tremendous power over our health, destiny, and longevity. The vast majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a plant-based diet and other healthy lifestyle behaviors. There's only one diet ever proven to reverse the progression of heart disease in the majority of patients, a plant-based diet. I mean, if that's all a plant-based diet can do, reverse the #1 killer of men and women. I mean, shouldn't that kind of be the default diet until proven otherwise? And the fact that it can also be so effective in preventing, arresting, reversing other leading killers like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure would seem to make the case for plant-based eating simply overwhelming. And now eating healthy can protect not only against chronic disease threats in the future, but against the current infectious disease threat. Think of the underlying risk factors, these so-called comorbidities, that increase one's risk for a severe case of COVID-19 or death. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and obesity. Right? Every single one of those can be prevented, arrested, or reversed with a healthy enough plant-based diet. Even just being overweight puts you nearly 5 times the odds of a severe COVID-19 course. Having a BMI of 28, which is like being 175 pounds to the average American height, 5 times the odds of suffering a severe course. The average BMI in the United States, 29. So even being skinnier than the average American could put you at so much excess body fat that you can quintuple your odds of a serious course. And look, we've had the time. We're now month 7, right? If you had started back in March in terms of improving your diet, by now, even if you were overweight back then, particularly now that we may have more control over our food environment, not eating out so much, etc., this is really the time to take better care of ourselves. In terms of individual foods that may boost our immune system, there are these amazing studies I've talked about on Nutrition Facts that are showing that simple foods can boost your immune system, like randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials showing that broccoli sprouts, for example, can reduce viral loads for influenza, decreased virus-induced inflammation, and boost our antiviral natural killer cell activity, all from just eating broccoli. But this isn't the flu. Unlike other common viruses, coronaviruses have not been shown to cause more severe disease in immunosuppressed patients. Say, wait a second, why? Because it's our own immune system that appears to be the main driver of lung tissue damage during infection. Starting around the 2nd week of symptoms, the virus can trigger what's called a cytokine storm, which is kind of like an autoimmune reaction where your body overreacts, and in attacking the coronavirus, your lungs can get caught in the crossfire. And in burning down the village in order to save it, you kind of, we may not survive the process. So that's why I certainly support general common sense advice to stay healthy during the crisis, getting sufficient sleep, staying active, reducing stress, staying connected, albeit remotely, with friends and family, and eating a healthy diet. But I would not go out of your way to take specific supplements or eat specific foods that boost elements of your immune system until we really know more about this virus.
Good. We've gotten a lot of questions on supplements. I know you've written quite a bit on zinc, that it can't hurt, but it hasn't really been proven because we just don't have enough evidence. And there are other questions that we've gotten about probiotics. Irene from Portland asked about probiotics for gut issues or glucosamine. But you're saying there's really nothing that specifically we should be taking aside from just staying healthy.
Eat healthy.
Eat healthy.
Boom. Everything else takes care of itself. Oh, and of course, not get the virus. I mean, you could be as sick as a dog and eat horrible food. You're still not going to die of COVID if you never get the virus. The virus, you can't get the virus if the virus can't get to you. And how do you not get the virus? Distance, distance, distance. That's where the virus comes from, other people. And so you stay away from other people, particularly avoiding indoor, crowded, confined spaces with poor ventilation. So regardless of what you eat, let's all stay healthy.
Looking ahead, how would you, there's a question from Karen in Brooklyn. What's the implication of developing immunity and vaccine? We've gotten a lot of questions on vaccine. If Janie from California asks if a vaccine would be created, would you accept it? Would you take it yourself? And how would we know also when a vaccine is safe enough to take for the general public? Because it seems this is kind of either it's mass I guess infection, right, or it's contained through a vaccine. So how what advice would you have there?
Well, any questioner from Brooklyn, front of the line. My mom was from Brooklyn, dad was from Queens. That's how we stop this virus. We stop this virus through something called herd immunity, where there's just a sufficient enough proportion of the population is immune to the virus, such that these immune individuals act as fire breaks to stop the virus, kind of like control rods in a nuclear reactor, to slow to break chains of transmission. This is ideally accomplished through mass vaccination, right? Vaccines are a way to kind of fight fire with fire, using the virus to fight the virus by generating the benefits of infection immunity while without the risks, disease and death. Without a vaccine, herd immunity is just achieved the hard way through mass infection, which we certainly don't want. I know there's a lot of concern about the vaccine, but there is such laser focus on this vaccine from all sectors of society. The FDA, there will be full data transparency. There's no way the FDA could get away with approving a vaccine that hasn't been shown to be safe and effective. And so if it's an FDA-approved vaccine, I would absolutely take it. I wouldn't line up to be first, just because right now I'm not in clinical practice, and we need our frontline medical workers immune first. But in terms of the general population, line me up, because that's how we're going to stop this virus, get back to normal, and of course, able to work on the bigger question, which is how to prevent even greater infectious disease threats in the future. And how do we do that? We do that by voting with the end of our fork.
Beautiful, well said. And I think this comment right here kind of sums this up.
There we go.
If I wish we had more leaders like you that would kind of resonate this message that a whole foods, plant-based diet is the solution to chronic disease, like you mentioned, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity, Alzheimer's, and on and on and on, and can help stop and prevent pandemics from the future in the future. What is? Go ahead.
Go back to the Garden of Eden, pick up your Torah. That's the diet we should be eating.
That's right. That's right. The first conversation God has with man, he says, "This is what you are to eat: the plants and the fruits and with the seed in them." Period. He doesn't add the meat. He doesn't add the cheese. He doesn't add the fish.
It took a flood. It took a flood to compromise. Yeah.
It was a compromise. Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Greger. We really appreciate you being here and you joining us for our community and our movement. We're going to continue the session with Jody Graber, who will help answer some of the other questions that we've received. And I hope that we'll see you again very soon for a follow-up of this very important dialogue.
Hopefully in person.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Jody, that was a whirlwind of information. I think, we've gotten a lot of questions. Obviously, we couldn't get to all of them, but I think a lot of them were addressed, in fact, by the things that he mentioned. I want to go back to some of the things that we heard and some of the questions that were raised. I'm looking at one right here from Stacy from New Jersey. And she's asking about what is the most important food to keep your digestive system working properly? What would you say?
Well, you certainly want to make sure that you're getting enough fiber. That's very, very important. But I would say also, think about if you don't know that your digestive system is not working properly, it is probably okay. But fiber is certainly really important. And, many of us vegans do get a lot of fiber from our legumes and, vegetables, but it's really important. The other thing I would say is, and it was, of course, mentioned, probiotics. That's really, really important. I think my personal opinion is everyone should take a probiotic. I am a health coach. I am not a medical professional. I think you should certainly talk to your doctor about probiotics, but they certainly help with our digestive system.
Yeah, Eileen from Portland, Oregon was actually asking specifically about that. So you're saying probiotics, not just to deal with other issues, but also for gut issues, and I mean, what kind of things do they?
For everything. I mean, it just keeps because Hippocrates, said all disease begins in the gut.
That's right.
So let's keep our guts as healthy as we possibly can. So I wholeheartedly believe in a probiotic. And I would say, I should also say, again, I'm a health coach, not a medical professional. So my answers are, should not be taken as medical advice, but talk to your doctor. Ask your doctor about a probiotic. But I think it's good to take.
And get a plant-based doctor too.
Yes, well, that too. And a plant-based probiotic.
The other thing about food, that we mentioned here, Deborah from Philly was asking about dairy, and Susan from Washington is a vegetarian, so she includes, I know, I'm assuming some dairy or eggs or something in the diet. How do you tweak that to maximize health benefits? I mean, what would you advise?
Well, from my experience, dairy was one of the first things that I eliminated, actually, before I even went vegetarian and subsequently vegan. For me and for many people that I know, it's
before meat.
I'm sorry?
Before meat, you're saying?
Before I gave up meat, I gave up dairy.
Wow.
Because that was when I was feeling so inflamed.
Yeah.
My doctor and health professional said, no gluten, no dairy. And I remember looking at them saying, but I'm not lactose intolerant, and I don't have celiac. And they said, you're inflamed. So I really believe, and from what I study and people I know, dairy is, can really cause inflammatory reactions in the body. So I think to tweak a vegetarian diet is to eliminate the dairy. It makes it healthier. It eases your digestion, and you feel better.
Wow. Speaking of inflammation, we've got a few questions on gluten diets, gluten-free diets, glutenism, as I was. So this is Forrest from Pittsburgh. Heard another doctor advise that a gluten-free diet can improve the immune system, and gluten prevents the absorption of nutrients. And then here's Robin from Atlanta, Georgia, saying, is there a way to counteract, decrease the side effects of eating gluten for someone who's not celiac but gluten sensitive?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're gluten sensitive, the best way, the best thing to do is go gluten free. I mean, that's what I did. Many people I know do that. It makes a difference. And when I was going through some, I have an anaphylactic reaction to sesame, and this is going back years. And I went to my allergist, and he did all sorts of tests at that time for gluten. And they all came back negative. I was fine. And I finally said to him, you know what? I feel better when I don't eat gluten. And he said, if you feel better when you don't eat gluten, then don't eat gluten. Now, do I sometimes have a bite of something? Yes, I do. But not on a regular basis. I eat gluten free. I feel better. So I would do a test. I would do an elimination, diet. Eliminate gluten for 3 weeks and see how you feel. And then, if you want to do a test and like add it back in and see how you feel. But my sense is you're probably going to feel better.
That's, and that's so important that you mentioned, like, pay attention to your body, like listen to your body
100%.
talking to you every single day. So, but we've kind of gotten into this mindset of like just ignoring the body. Like we're just going to eat what everyone else eat, and we're going to eat what we see on TV, and we're going to eat what our friends feed us, and we're going to eat when we go out. We're just going to do what other people. But our body is communicating to us. So how do we sync ourselves to those messages to listen to our body and then adjust accordingly based on what we need?
That is such a great question. And we have to, our body, our DNA, everybody's DNA is different. Our bodies are different. So, some people say, oh, the keto diet, everyone should do the keto diet and everyone should do this diet. Or I know there were some questions that I think came in about intermittent fasting and things like that. Everybody is different. So your best friend in the world, your brother, sister, aunt, whatever, may do intermittent fasting and thrive on it and feel the best they've ever felt. And you may try it and feel awful. So you absolutely have to listen to your body. And it's all about how you want to feel. If you go out to a restaurant and you load up on the bread and olive oil beforehand, then your meal comes and you're so full that you don't want to eat and you're sitting there uncomfortable. And then your friends order dessert and you want to eat that because it's the thing to do and you feel awful, there's no reason to eat it. But it is a mindset of valuing your health and well-being. And I think when we have conversations like this with these incredible doctors, we get so many questions about what should I eat and what are the best supplements and all of that. And so much is also what you should eliminate. So think about what you are eating. If you're eating the best, vegan diet, if you will, but adding a lot of sugar to that, which then wouldn't make it the best vegan diet. But you know what I mean? If you're eating whole food plant-based, most of the, but then you're making a lot of recipes that are calling for, a cup of sugar, 2 cups of sugar. That is going to suppress your immune system. And then you're thinking, oh, but I'm eating all of these foods the doctors told me to eat, but you're also eating the sugar that is suppressing your immune system.
Yeah.
So you want to focus on that. And you want, also, I mean, we can't underestimate the value of sleep, and again, I know that's not, telling us what's on our plate, but it is this combination. It starts with what's on our plate, but then we want to get a good night of sleep. Otherwise, we're again suppressing our immune system.
Yeah. And that was the question I think that you referred to right here, that from Jill in Illinois. How do you suggest, people to connect, understand keto diets or, fasting? So you're saying it's kind of individualized for people?
It is very individualized.
Rules that people can kind of rules of thumb that people can follow, or?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Sure.
It is very individualized. I love what Dr. Greger said, which is, the vegan diet, whole food plant-based is the diet that has been proven to, reverse the diseases. So there you go. There's the science. We're all about science these days. But it is individualized. I mean, like I said, some people will do great on intermittent fasting. Some people will be so lethargic, they may not be able to get out of bed. And the two people will look at each other like, this is the greatest thing, this is the worst thing. it's a thing. But I think, the issue with vegan, is it is this lifestyle
Right.
that we lead. And it's, we're talking about compassion for animals. Let's have some compassion for ourselves as well. And do what you were saying before, listen to our body. How do I feel when I eat something?
Yes.
And that's what you want to do.
At the same time, I think like so many of us are addicted to certain types of foods. Kind of to illustrate, this is Mark from Arlington. Is Beyond Meat's 18 grams of fat bad and grilling it on an electric grill? Is that the unhealthy way, or is that the good way to eat it? Here's Joe from Echo Creek, Maryland. Hi, Joe. What would be a healthful plant-based fast food diet? What would that look like?
That's a good question. I think there are so many resources today with, food in, vegan food in 15 minutes, vegan food in 25 minutes. It also depends on the kind of person you are and how you prepare your food. For some people, it's about, opening a can of beans and maybe adding some guacamole or some salsa, and maybe a wrap of some sort. And maybe, some lettuce, some vegetables in there. And you have a good, fast food vegan meal. I have become a little obsessed these past few months with making my own chickpea tuna. And it's so easy to make. And then you keep it in the refrigerator for a few days. And I just have been taking it out and having it different ways, in a wrap, on for me, on a gluten-free English muffin, with some, adding some vegetables. So there are lots of different ways. And I know I'm going to, I was going to mention this afterwards, but this is one of the things we're doing as part of the campaign, is our plant pathways. And we're sharing a lot of recipes. We have a great dialogue going on Facebook with people who are sharing their recipes, easy to make, so that you can have some vegan, healthy fast food, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great point to mention. If someone could put that website down there, we can feature it. The Plant Pathways program is an integrative community and a series of resources that you are getting in order to help with your veg journeys, or your dietary transitions. You're going to be part of a community, and really we encourage everyone, whether you're carnivore or vegan or anywhere in between, or fruitarian, whatever have you, to sign up to the program and be part of this community to continue the conversation. There are a lot of resources that we have, individually, all of us, to share with others, so that we can learn and grow from each other as we go on this journey together. There's no one person, I think, that has a monopoly on information these days, and it's so easy to educate yourself and to continue to learn and grow from others around you that are going on this journey. And that's really our intention here, to enable people to be inspired by this message and to embrace this journey, and explore and just try different things.
Absolutely. And as you were saying before, about listening to our body and then how we feel when we go out. And, I know a lot of people, when I talk to them about going vegan, they say, oh, but my friends will laugh at me. Oh, but my friends will think it's just the next diet I'm going on. And that's where I think Plant Pathways can really help, because we're there to support, and we're there to help you understand, reinforce for you that you're doing it for yourself and for others. You're doing it for yourself. Let's say, first and foremost, I should say, some people come to veganism, of course, for the health benefits. Others come for animals. Others come for the environment. But let us all stick together There's power in numbers. Let us all stick together. And that's what we're doing with Plant Pathways. And it's really fun to see the conversations going on Facebook. But you also, when you sign up, it is a free program. And when you sign up, you also will get some information via email. And we're creating community so that we're all, we can all really be in this together.
Yeah, well said. And all of this, again, is part of our Pandemic Free World campaign. When you go to that site, pandemicfree.org, you're going to see the Plant Pathways program. You're going to see a lot of resources that help explain the connection between zoonotic pandemics and our food, and what we can do individually to strengthen our immune system to be healthy during what is really a trying time for so many people. So I wanted to really just highlight that as a free resource for all of you, so that you can share that, explore it yourself, share that with your friends, and make sure that others are seeing this really critical and important message. And all of this is supported by individual donors and individual supporters like yourself. So we have a support page in that link below right here. If you go to the site, you'll be able to support the campaign to strengthen this effort. This is really a multi-year campaign. I mean, this is just the beginning of this process. I think this pandemic has highlighted the urgency of this issue, because there's no person in the world, I think maybe somewhere in Zambia, that's secluded from civilization, or in the Amazon, but everyone that's connected to modern civilization is feeling the effects of a broken food system, and as a consequence, a zoonotic pandemic that has ripped through this world and turned everyone's lives upside down. And the only way really to prevent these pandemics from happening in the future is to transform our food system altogether. And the only way to do that is individually to adopt plant-based diets, because the food system is a response to our individual consumer choices that we make every single day, 3 times a day when we sit down to eat. If we eat a plant-based diet, there's no way we're going to see these kind of pandemics over and over again, destroying and ripping through communities.
No. Sorry, Michael. I was going to say, no, absolutely. And I was going to say, this is an easy way to go about it through the Pandemic Free World campaign. Just letting people know that that each person as an individual can affect change. One person can affect change, because one person talks to one person. It's the same way they're talking about how COVID has spread, and then there was just this, report about a conference in Boston that then spread to 20,000 people. So imagine the upside of that. If each of us can affect 20,000 people to adopt a plant-based diet, then we're doing a good job here. And so I think on one hand, it is exciting for us to be able to do this and be able to talk to people and say, look, here's what's going on. This is how we got here. This is how we can get out of it.
That's right. Yeah, and again, the campaign is supported by individual people, as well as organizations that believe in our mission and support our vision for a healthy, a kind, and a plant-based world. So one of those organizations, like I mentioned before, is VDOG, which provides some absolutely amazing vegan kibble for your dogs, a balanced vegan kibble. It's not just nourishing for your dog, but also gentle on the earth's resources. It's pooch tested and planet approved. I love that. And so I really encourage all of you guys to check them out. VDOG.com is a fantastic product. for anyone that has a dog or pets and interested in contributing to their health and the world's health as well.
Absolutely. And we do have, I'll just bring in here some other partners who are with us.
That's right. Yes.
On this campaign, and we invite you to partner with us. You can contact Michael, or you can go on to pandemicfree.org. There is a chat there, but Michael's email is mgribov at jewishveg.org, and we'll put that in here. And please, consider partnering with us, letting us know if you know someone who's a good partner. That's the way we're going to spread the word. That's the way we are going to solve the situation we're in and prevent future pandemics.
Yes, that's right. So if you'd like to be a partner with us, please feel free to contact me or contact us through the Pandemic Free website. If you have an organization that is connected to this movement, we would love to feature it and would love to work with you in that endeavor. Or if you just want to support this cause, as an individual, we welcome your support and we welcome your help because this is not, just us doing it. This is a movement that is sustained by individual members like you. If you have not yet made a contribution or become a member of Jewish Veg, highly encourage you to do that. It's the members that are really sustaining all of our work on an ongoing basis and supporting our mission. So I really encourage all of you who have not yet become members to take the time, go to jewishveg.org and click on the membership link, click on support and donate, and you'll be able to become a member of Jewish Veg. Again, if you are viewing this on YouTube or Facebook, I invite you to subscribe, to follow, to friend, comment, like, and spread and share this webinar. Just share this live conversation with others. There will be more like it. We literally just launched the Pandemic Free World campaign. Dr. Greger was our first official speaker in the campaign. And this is going to be an ongoing effort with your help and your support that we'll be able to extend this to many people beyond our current reach. And we cannot do it alone. We need your help. We need your ability to really blast this out, share it with your friends and family, encourage others to participate and to support this effort, and that's the only way that this movement is really going to grow, and it has to grow in the middle of a zoonotic pandemic. So that is, I think, the most. It's the best time, to have this conversation when everyone's feeling the effects of our broken food system.
Absolutely. And I do want to reiterate what Michael said at the beginning about the impact survey that we will be sending out to those of you who registered and have received the emails, the confirmation emails, the reminder emails. You'll be receiving the impact survey tomorrow. It takes about 2 minutes to fill out, maybe a minute and a half even. It's really short, but it helps us a great deal to hear from you and to know what we're doing that's working, and who else you'd like to see us talk to at events like this, and what information you want to know so that we can bring it to you.
And then, also I just mentioned we build, we grow because we build local communities. So we have chapters in several major metropolitan areas in America. We have Jody's representing our New York chapter. Thank you, Jody, for your leadership on that effort. New York chapter is very vibrant and growing. I've done a lot of work on the DC chapter having been, based in DC. We also have Chantal. Chantal is our West Coast engagement manager based in LA. She is helping to staff the LA chapter. And then very soon, we're going to be very exciting, going to be opening up a San Francisco chapter for the Bay Area as well. So our work is growing, even though we cannot be physically, together. In many ways, it's even easier to connect virtually and to continue the conversation and to be connected that way. So I encourage you, if you live in any of those areas that I mentioned, New York, DC, LA, San Francisco, to contact us so that we can connect you to our lay leaders in the chapter. The chapter is really run by lay leaders on the ground who are passionate about our movement and committed to our vision for a kinder and healthier world through plant-based food. If you support that vision and you want to be part of those chapters, please connect with us, and we will get you on board. And if you are interested in leading other chapters in other areas of the world, especially the United States, please also let us know, because we are always growing and always connecting with new networks and building new communities. So really appreciate all of your time today, and appreciate you being here and you spreading this message, because this is not a one-time conversation. This is an ongoing conversation, I think, that we all need to be part of, and we all need to be ambassadors for to help grow this movement.
Absolutely. And I'm just seeing, Michael, I'm seeing some comments come in. So there was a question, where was it here, about any plans for a Chicago chapter? Well, if it's Elena or Alana, please contact us. Let's talk and let's see what's going on in Chicago and, what we can do. It's certainly a place we'd like to have a presence. So let us, please be in touch. And then I saw this comment from Valerie about when I make Aliyah, I want to be in a community that is vegan. I will personally say that my niece recently made Aliyah. She is vegan. So, contact us. We at the very least we know someone who knows someone, we know people. We can help you find the vegan community or direct you to people who know, so that you can establish yourself in Israel.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Jody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for being. Thank you, Valerie, for that comment. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this discussion and this conversation. And we will be back very soon with more. We're going to be having some Rosh Hashanah events coming up. High holidays are just around the corner. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll be soon launching our 45th anniversary campaign as well. So would really appreciate all of you being a part of that and helping to lead this movement and this effort. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a great night. Take care.